What's up, guys? Today's video is you don't actually want a girlfriend, and I'm gonna prove it to you, okay? A lot of you guys, you just say to yourselves, oh, I want a girlfriend so badly, but you don't actually realize the reasons why or really truly think about it. You just say, oh, society tells me I need one, so I should have one, right? Or that's all I've ever wanted. What do you mean I don't want one? And we're gonna go right into this, so let's see. I'm gonna show you all the reasons why you don't actually want one. Let's get right into it. Number one is you really just don't want other men sleeping with her, okay? So you tell yourself, you love her, you want to protect her, etc., but in reality, it's all ego-driven. You really just don't want other men sleeping with her. You can't stand the fact of other men being with her in that way. So you say, oh, I need to tie her down. I need to tie her down because I just don't want other people sleeping with her. And that's something you don't really think about, but you know that that's truly deep down the reason you wanted a girlfriend, or you wanted to take this girl from just casual to a girlfriend, is because you didn't want her sleeping with other people, okay? Number two is you think you want emotional intimacy, but really you just want emotional safety, okay? So you believe you want a deep connection, maybe you do, but you're actually craving somebody to soothe your insecurities and give you validation on autopilot, okay? So you think, oh, well, now that I have a girlfriend, I can be, emotional, I can have some emotional safety. And that's just so far from the truth, because the second you start showing that emotion, she starts getting turned off, okay? So you're actually craving somebody to soothe those insecurities, when really you should just become the person without insecurities, okay? Become the man without insecurities, then you won't need her to soothe those for you, okay? A lot of people get these girlfriends thinking, oh, it's gonna fix all my problems, when really you're still gonna have all those problems, okay? Number three is you think you want loyalty, but you really just want control. So you tell yourself, oh, I want a girl who's not going to cheat, okay? But you're trying to micromanage her freedom, okay? So you can feel secure without doing the inner work. So whereas I'm secure, I'm not going to try to, micromanage her, tell her she can't do this and that, because I just simply don't care. You're going to try to micromanage everything. You can't go there, you can't wear that, you can't do that, okay? So you're really just looking for that control that you think you can't have if she's not your girlfriend. Whereas I can turn a friend with benefits into a very loyal girl just by not caring. The more you don't care, she's just gonna naturally be loyal to you, even if you don't have to set these boundaries. Crazy, right? And I feel like if a lot of you guys could keep the girl as a friend with benefits but maintain the loyalty, you wouldn't even make her your girlfriend, okay? And a lot of you won't even be able to admit that to yourselves. Number four is you think you want sex on demand. You say you want regular sex in a stable relationship, but really you're just chasing guaranteed validation based off your horniness because you don't believe you can consistently attract women. All right, so you're making her your girlfriend because you're saying, oh, that gives me access to consistent sex. But what you're not realizing is that if you had abundance of women, you wouldn't even think that way, okay? I have abundance, so that way I don't even need to tie her down to have consistency. I can get consistency from multiple women. Number five reason that you don't want a girlfriend is you simply got tired of competing. A lot of you guys are on these apps doing all this stuff, trying to get a girlfriend. And eventually you just get so tired of the games, tired of competing. And you think, I'm so tired of getting rejected, the games, etc., that you just quit. You just quit. And by quitting, you're settling. You end up settling for the best that you can get, which is less than you deserve, okay? You're like, I can't swipe anymore. I can't go on any more dates. I keep getting rejected. You want to quit the game, but still feel like you won in the end. So you end up settling for maybe that 3 out of 10, and that's less than you deserve, but it's the best you could get in this very moment. Go back to one of my other videos where I told you stop cold approaching, do this instead, where it's kind of you're doing all the work in the back end, and that way eventually you're going to be the guy who just attracts instead of just settling for whatever scraps you can get, okay? Because you're never going to be happy at the end of the day, settling for those scraps. Number six is you really want relief from loneliness, okay? You think having a girlfriend will make you whole. It's gonna make me whole, it's gonna make me complete, okay? You're trying to escape emptiness by stuffing somebody into your void. So you think, oh, I'm just gonna stuff them into this square peg, stuff this little circle into this square peg, and everything's gonna be nice and dandy. My whole life will be fixed, okay? which a lot of you guys don't realize. Once you get this girlfriend, you have a lot more stress on your hands. You have another person that you have to take care of their emotions and all this other stuff. These things you don't think about because you're just really craving that intimacy, craving that touch. But when you're in abundance, you realize you don't actually want this. You really don't. That's why you need to figure out how to be okay being on your own, because then you won't even have a void there, you know? You don't want to ever have her filling a void. You want to just have her adding on to your life, adding on to your existing happiness, okay? Number 7 is you say you want stability, but you really just want a safety net. So you say you're ready to settle down and focus, but you're avoiding discomfort of being alone and disciplined by using the relationship as a crutch. So similar to that last point, you're kind of just using it as a crutch, using it as a safety net, because you don't want to do the hard work, and you use her as stability. Oh, well, she's gonna help me accomplish my goals because, you know, she's topping me off and doing this stuff while I'm working, I'm busy. But then you realize, you know, once you do get that success, now you're kind of like, oh shit, like I don't want to settle down anymore. But you already told her that you were ready to settle down, you know? Number 8 is you're more in love with fantasy than reality, okay? So you're imagining that the girl is perfect long-term material, okay? She's mature, she motivates you, you know, and you never argue, all right? You're in love with the image in your head, which you must outgrow to ever actually be satisfied in a relationship, okay? So what a lot of you guys do is you idealize this person in your head. You think everything's gonna be perfect because you're into each other, not realizing on the back end how many problems come with a relationship, how much drama there is. And once that hits you, you start to realize, oh crap, like it's not the perfect thing I thought it was. It's not just you go get ice cream, come home and watch Netflix. There's a lot more to it, okay? And once you realize that, you're gonna realize, oh, it was just a fantasy. The reality is I don't actually want one. I don't actually want a girlfriend. Crazy, right? Number 9 is you want proof that you aren't unlovable, okay? So you treat getting a girlfriend like a social trophy, you know? See, I'm dateable. See, I have a girlfriend. See? You know, you can never do that kind of stuff because once again, you're settling. You end up settling for somebody just to have that social status of, oh, I have a girlfriend. And it's like, okay, cool, dude. She's like a 2 out of 10. What you gonna do with that? Like, come on. You don't need external validation from people, from your peers, from your friends. They don't care if you don't have a girlfriend. A lot of your friends probably prefer that you don't because then they get to spend more time with you. Once you get this girlfriend, if you're this kind of guy, you're going to disappear off the face of the planet and just only be with your girlfriend. And then you're going to lose all your friends. And then she's going to leave you and you're going to have nothing. Okay? So if you just want that proof that you're this lovable guy, that you're not undateable, you know, you realize you don't actually want a girlfriend. You're doing it for these external reasons. And number 10 is you want her to help you ignore your demons. All right, so your insecurities or failures, your addictions. A lot of you guys have these addictions that you think, oh, well, if I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't watch porn anymore. If I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't just stay on my ass all day. So you think, oh, if I get a girlfriend, you know, I still have these demons, but at least I can kind of ignore them because at least I have a girlfriend, right? You know, you have fear of abandonment. You have no purpose, so she becomes your purpose. I'll say this a lot, you know, if the woman becomes your purpose, you're gonna lose her every time because the only thing that keeps her interested in you is that you have something above her, which is your purpose. And if you have her above that, guess what? She realizes it's all you have is her and she's gonna leave. She's gonna leave. And then the reality just becomes you don't want a girlfriend, you just want relief. You think, oh, my depression, oh, this and that, it's all due to not having a girlfriend. If only I had that warm touch, that soft skin, I would be so much happier. I would be complete. I would be whole. I wouldn't be the shell of a person anymore, okay? And that couldn't be further from the truth. And honestly, you're just gonna end up being that shell of a person and heartbroken because if you think this way, you're kind of screwed. So guys, that was why you don't actually want a girlfriend. Now, go watch my other video, which was, don't cold approach, do this instead. That sets the groundwork for things you should do before you even realize if you really do want a girlfriend, okay? So go watch that, give that a watch, hit the like and subscribe button if you got anything out of this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.